Hey, it's Jacqueline, and I'm so lucky that I get to be your driving instructor today. I bet you came here because you have specific questions about street signs. So we're going to review all the street signs that you had to memorize for your permit, but maybe you haven't seen since. We're going to drive in an area where we'll be able to see the street signs and also just really be able to understand why it's so important that we understand what the street signs mean. The most common street sign we're going to be looking for is the stop sign, which is painted bright red and is a hexagon shape. When we're approaching an intersection, we also look for the back of that stop sign shape, which will be silver and hexagon shaped. And that helps us know who has stop signs and who doesn't. Another common sign we're going to be looking for is a diamond shaped sign, and that means caution. It's generally painted bright yellow or sometimes orange because yellow and orange are our caution colors. And when we see a diamond shaped sign, we want to really read carefully and understand what the traffic engineers wanted us to know. We're also going to be looking for white signs that are rectangular shape that have our speed limits. And we're going to be looking for diamond caution signs that have symbols related to curves or turns or wiggly roads that might be coming up. Anything that is printed on a white sign is the law. So our speed limit sign that's printed on a white sign is the law. That's the upper limit that we can follow. And on curvy roads, we'll often see a yellow sign with a recommended speed, often 15, sometimes 20, depending on the curve of the road. Those yellow signs are cautions, they're suggestions. They're not exactly a speed limit. So you couldn't get a ticket for going 18 if it says 15 on a yellow sign, but you might not feel as safe. If there is a caution sign, it means that the traffic engineers have studied the road and they put those signs to make sure that everyone can pass through safely. So let's get out on the road with a specific focus of noticing and understanding and talking about our street signs and how they're posted to keep us safe. Here we go. So the first sign we come to is, of course, our stop sign. And I'm going to turn right at the stop sign, observing my full stop at the first limit line, and then creeping forward with my mirror over the second limit line, just to make sure. Because there's a bump here, right back there where you couldn't see, there was a yellow diamond sign that said caution, 15, bump. They really do try to give us a lot of information when we're out on the road. Stopping at another stop sign. I told you that's the most important sign that we're going to be looking for. And then while we're driving down this road, let's notice the no parking anytime sign. That's because the road is narrow, and if cars were parked on the right-hand side, it would be hard for us to pass by. We also notice the keep right sign to the left of us. That's because there's a big concrete median and they wouldn't want anyone to accidentally bump it. And all along here we see yield to pedestrian signs, speed limit signs, another keep right sign, all the signs that help keep us in our position so that we don't accidentally go in the wrong lane or the wrong direction or the wrong speed. Another reminder of our 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. It's pretty quiet around here until we see the next yellow diamond-shaped caution sign, which tells us that there's a trail crossing for bicyclists and pedestrians in 200 feet. And that black arrow reminds us, the driver, to look here for pedestrians. Now we've got our sharp curve, so we go 15 miles. Now on the left, there was a do not enter sign because that left road is a one-way street exiting toward us, so we're not allowed to enter. Already in the last 2 minutes, we've seen about half of the signs that you had to memorize. to get your permit test. So I hope you're feeling like, okay, I see where they're posted, I can see what they're trying to tell me, and then your job is to always read the signs and apply the safe skill that the sign is asking you to apply. Sometimes I'm driving with students and they'll say, I haven't seen a speed limit sign in a while. How am I supposed to know the speed limit? And the rule is that you remember the last speed limit sign you saw, which for us was 35 miles an hour, and we keep that speed until we see a new sign that gives us a new speed limit. And that's just because our community would look kind of ugly if we had street signs posted like every 100 feet. So there's part of this driving thing where you just have to remember all the things you studied for your permit. Hidden under that tree is our next speed limit sign. It says 30 miles an hour. We're reducing our speed to 30 because we're about to approach a tunnel. And to the right of the tunnel, we see a quiet sign and a turn on lights sign. We're also given information about the height of the tunnel in case we were a really tall truck. We would want to know if we could fit through. And we can see that car on the left didn't turn their lights on. They didn't observe the law. And so they looked super dark as they were coming out of the tunnel. Exiting the tunnel, we see a stop ahead sign and a reminder to check our lights. So I'm going to turn my lights off. And I'm going to turn left at this stop sign. I am going to take my turn observing a pedestrian clearing the crosswalk. And now I've got railroad track signs, railroad crossing. We're going to go over the railroad tracks at a nice cautious speed of 15. And now I see another yellow diamond caution sign for a fire station. And that's important information because at any time I could hear the sirens going off. And if I have early warning, I won't be as startled and I'll be better prepared to stay out of the way of the fire truck. Our stops at our stop signs have become so routine. I hope that you feel it too. We stop, we look right and left and right, and then we take our turn. At this next intersection, I notice I don't have stop signs. The right and left do, and I can tell because I see the back of their stop signs, the silver color and the hexagon. At this next intersection, we're going to look at all the street signs so we can decide which way to go. Usually we drive on the right side of the street, so it's sort of an instinct to go toward the right. But we see two bright signs, square with red circle, do not enter. To the left, we see 15 mile an hour, two-way traffic sign, and then we see the median sign, which shows us we are the black arrow. And so even though it feels weird in the United States to drive toward the left, we follow the street signs and we stay safe. And knowing that this is a two-way street is really important because it certainly feels like a one-way street. So we're cautious, looking for any oncoming traffic so we can make sure that we slow down and negotiate the space so we both could pass safely. I see the back of a diamond shape, which means caution. And my road continues to the right. I see another yellow diamond caution shape. More no parking signs because on this two-way road, there's no room for parked cars. And as I come around the corner here, I see a yellow sign which shows me that there is two-way traffic. And the caution sign alerts me to be really careful looking for traffic. You may have also noticed that there was not a stop sign at that T. We have to remember full stop at every T, whether there's a sign or not. Now we're going to pass through a big intersection with no stop signs and no yield signs. Everybody yields, looking cautiously. And I'm going to turn left, and I am the black arrow on the right side of that sign that said, there's a median, you stay to the right. There's a one-way sign letting me know that that little part of the road was one way. And now I'm back on a two-way road. Even though there's no signs, I can tell because cars are parked heading toward me. As I approach this intersection, I'm going to make a right turn. And again, this is a two-way road. If it was one way, there would be a long rectangular sign with an arrow pointing in the direction that the road goes. But this one is two-way. I'm going to curve left with the road because the right curve goes into a driveway, and the little blue dot on the ground helps remind me to stay on my right side of the road. Even though there isn't a center line painted down the middle of this road, I remember it's a two-way street. If it was one way, there would be a one-way sign. And when I'm driving in neighborhoods with windy roads and cliffs, it's normal to use a little bit of a slower speed. 15 is a perfect caution speed. I'm going to turn right at this intersection. To the left, I see a not a through street sign. And also to the left, I see a downhill sign. Again, using that yellow color and the diamond shape, which is our caution color. Here we have a no left turn sign and do not enter signs, just to be sure that we won't accidentally try to turn left onto that one-way street. And as I pop out here, I see a yield sign, and that reminds me that I am slow and cautious, looking, and I would stop if I had to, but I go if I don't have a reason to stop. I'm going to make a right turn at this stop sign. I see a pedestrian passing, so of course I'm going to yield to the pedestrian. And I'm also thinking about to the left, making sure that I can see around that white truck before I make my turn. And now I see lots of yellow caution alerting me that the road curves to the left. I have a white speed limit sign of 20, so that's my new speed limit for this section of the road. I'm going to safely pass the UPS truck, looking carefully for the driver. I don't want to accidentally bump a person trying to get back to their truck. All the way down, I observe that 20-mile-an-hour sign that I saw back there. And I hope you're starting to feel like the street signs are special messages just to you. Here I notice a diamond yellow shape, which alerts me that there's a yield. So I look for those cars, I make sure no one's coming, and then I continue. And again, we've got no parking signs on the right-hand side. Really important to notice that. You don't want to accidentally get a parking ticket. And as I come forward, I've just made a big loop and I'm back on the other side of this tunnel, and I see again the turn on light sign. And underneath the turn on light signs, it has 2 arrows pointing left. So that is telling me if you're turning left, turn on your lights to go through the tunnel. And I creep to my second limit line where I can look through the tunnel and see the flash of light from cars coming. And when it's safe, I make my turn. So that was a little fun with street signs. There's a reason they make you memorize the shape and the color of all the signs, because one day you're going to be out on the road. You might be in a new neighborhood that you're unfamiliar with, and being able to very quickly notice the signs, read the information, and react while you're driving is going to help you be a really smooth and safe driver. Let's turn right at this 4-way stop, noticing the pedestrians. They waved us on, so we're going to go ahead once we know that they're safely stopped and if they want us to go. And we see more signs. A keep right sign, a school crossing sign in bright yellow. We see look for pedestrian signs, and again, that arrow pointing down means, dear driver, please look here, because this is a spot where a little kid could be standing waiting to cross. More school crossing signs, more alert to pedestrian signs. And then as we continue forward, we see a yellow caution sign that says no outlet, dead end. So we won't be surprised that when we get to the end of this road, we're going to have to make a U-turn. And the sign was right. Here we are at the end of the road. We're going to make a U-turn. We see other signs here noting private property and no trespassing. That's something that we remember when we're a car or a pedestrian or a cyclist. And the sign on the right says no parking, street sweeping. But it's not street sweeping time. So I'm going to pull over and park right here by this bright yellow school sign. And that is going to complete our fun review of signs. I hope you liked driving around this neighborhood. I hope that driving in California takes you to all kinds of awesome neighborhoods. Depending on when the neighborhood was colonized, there will be different sorts of streets. This one was really windy with narrow roads. If a neighborhood was colonized more recently, it'll have more of a grid-like structure with more right and left turns that are more normal. But thank you for following along. We got to see railroad tracks, we got to see yield signs, we got to see, of course, our stop signs, our caution for pedestrian signs, school crossing signs. And the important thing for you to remember is every sign is a personal note to you. Dear driver, notice and respond safely. Thanks for being a safe driver that notices and responds safely. If you liked this video and you felt like it helped you to understand street signs better, click like and also subscribe to our channel so that you can check out all the videos that you want for whatever you are learning. Thanks for stopping in to learn about street signs today. See you next time.